All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Machah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Um, Basically, I came across this article today, which is something I was thinking about concerning this whole coronavirus thing and how it almost just got swept under the rug. Okay, as soon as this whole protests and rioting started. Okay, and look at this. Literally, look at this picture. Okay, he doesn't have a mask on. Look how they're literally touching each other, right? And this is the exact opposite of what they were doing just a couple of months back. Okay, literally, as they claim uh, uh, um, the coronavirus, numbers started going down and things started looking good for reopening, right? And just as that happened, you know, boom. And that's why they threw out the possibility of a second wave. Okay, now check this out. FLYOD protests are perfect recipe for COVID-19 surge, says top U.S. infectious diseases expert FAUCI. Others argue blame racism. Okay, and this is the perfect cover for a dark winter. Okay, for a second wave, as they like to put it. Except this time, they're gonna have a vaccine. Okay, so yeah, why wasn't Trump or anybody or these governors warning people about the coronavirus while all these rioting and protests were happening? Everybody shifted their focus onto what? Onto the riots and the looting and all of that, right? But you barely heard news about, we should be concerned about this pandemic and how it's gonna spread. There's a reason for that. So let's read a little bit of this. So now don't be now you should know that there's going to be a second wave. And now they're going to come down hard upon you, man. It says Dr. Anthony Fauci has warned that demonstrations over George Floyd could cause a second wave of COVID-19, while other health officials have dismissed such concerns and insisted the demonstrations are more important. Perfect story. He tried to warn you. You didn't listen. And now look how bad it got because of you not listening. Fauci, who sits on the White House Coronavirus Task Force, says he finds the protests across the nation very concerning and a perfect recipe for a surge in COVID-19 cases. As I sat in front of the TV and watched the screen go from Washington, D.C. to New York City to Los Angeles to Philadelphia, I got really concerned, he told the Sunday Times. I was going, oh my goodness. I hope this doesn't set us back a lot. All right. It says, after all of the work in trying to maintain the physical distance and doing all the things, I became very concerned that we might see a resurgence, he added. And I'm just mocking him. But because that's how he sounds. But basically you're listening to what he's saying. Okay, there's a reason. Look, man, this is all set up. Okay, it's all set up. Why do they push so hard? Remember, whenever the media pushes for something and that's all they're reporting on, then you have to look the other way and see what is happening around the world. What are they covering? Why are they trying so hard to catch your attention onto one thing? And now everybody done forgot about the coronavirus. The same coronavirus that kept you in your houses for months. People were scared to go outside. They said even breathing will give you the virus. So people didn't even want to talk to each other. Oh, nah, call me on the phone. Don't even come close to me. Just call me on the phone. All right? 6 feet apart. Here it is, you trying to go to the grocery store 6 feet apart. Close down the whole world over a virus. But all of a sudden, the virus is not that important anymore. And if you notice, the protests are worldwide. It's not just in the U.S. So when the second wave comes because of protests, it's not going to be just in the U.S. It says, despite warnings only weeks ago from health officials, including Fauci, that social distancing and lockdown orders were necessary to battle the spread of the coronavirus, many have changed their tune in light of protests, arguing that issues of racism and police brutality supersede the pandemic. Guess what? Hey man, when they use this second wave as an excuse to come down upon you people, man, do not be shocked, because you have people. There's another article. I'll read the headline for you after this, and they're basically saying, I forgot, an ex NBA player or so. He said he's telling Trump, look, we coming to get you out the White House. All right, who? Stephen Jackson, right? Yep, Stephen Jackson. He's saying, look, you are not gonna get re-elected this November. Like, we are most definitely not voting you into power. Now, they could all vote against him, but it's up to the electoral college. Okay? They could do that and Trump could still stay in, or he could declare a state of emergency. They could say before the election even hits, we're in a serious pandemic because of coronavirus 2.0, because of the thing spiking back up. Notice how they were so slow to reopen things back up, almost like they were buying time, all right, for the vaccine to come out. All right, it's all distractions, 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 and people are so quick to jump to the front lines. Blackout Tuesday, put black screens on Instagram. What does that do? How does that solve your problem? By posting on Instagram? You've been posting on Instagram for years. Is a picture gonna change everything all of a sudden? It says, let's be clear about something. If there is a spike in coronavirus cases in the next 2 weeks, don't blame the protesters. Would you look at that? Blame racism. Mark Levine, chairman of the New York City Council Health Committee, tweeted this week. At the end of the day, whether it's racism or protesters, you're still going to have to deal with them shutting things back down again, but this time they're going to come down on you hard. Oh, were you at the protest? Oh, get his ass, round him up. What, you thought you were just gonna go out there to the riots, expose yourself as they claim to the virus, come back, and now that we have a vaccine, you say you don't want it, and oh, we'll just let you go. Oh, you funny, man. All of a sudden, everybody needs to wear masks. That is calmed down. All of a sudden, make sure you're 6 feet apart. That is calmed down. You see, some of these stores, they're not even pushing as hard as before concerning these social distancing rules, because now the narrative has shifted to this pandemic. Said pandemic. To this riots. Okay. It says Greg Gonsalves or Gonsalves. Anyway, Greg, whatever his name is, an assistant professor of epidemiology, suggested in a long Twitter thread on Friday that criticisms of the protests over fears of COVID-19 should be treated as suspect because they come exclusively from white men. And he argued protesters are balancing risks to their communities. Basically, they're demonizing anybody that's trying to like bring a trying to I guess you could say bring more awareness to this coronavirus exposure due to the protests by saying, oh, you're supporting the racism if you're trying to tell them to stop because you're worried about a virus. So in everybody's mind, basically the protests and all these Black Lives Matter movements are more important than the pandemic. So what is Esau going to do? He's going to show you why you should have been more worried about the pandemic. All right. It says many of those I argued with were conservative commentators, but many were liberal academics as well. They were almost all white men. The theme from both was it is inconsistent to support social distancing and support these marches, and is going to hurt public health as a field. The protesters are balancing competing risks to their communities of COVID-19, police violence, and centuries of systemic racism. Now, you pick, of all times, you pick the middle of a pandemic to fight against this. It says, which has led to declining but still large gaps of life expectancy, health, and wellness among African Americans and their white counterparts. Now, if you noticed, they were saying that the people who are most susceptible to catch this virus were so-called Negroes and Latinos. And in whose communities are the protests going on the most? Who are leaving their houses the most now and getting together and completely breaking that 6 feet thing that they were talking about? Now, I'm not saying this because oh, I'm so mad. No, I'm saying this because they're going to use this against you. Okay? Do not be surprised when they bring that time of the second wave. They need, because why do you think they're working oh so hard to find a vaccine? So that you can just tell them, well, the coronavirus left in the summer and we haven't really heard of it, and the second wave, that's not really anything crazy, so there's no real point for a vaccine. No, they're developing the vaccine because they know by the time the vaccine is ready, things are gonna be so bad with the virus that they're gonna be justified in trying to force you to take that vaccine. Don't forget about the footage of that man who had the police in his house and they took him and his wife forcibly to the wherever what they claim was the hospital. It says protests over Floyd's death show no sign of stopping, while the 4 officers involved in his death have been charged. Now, how easy is them for them? How easy is it for them to come out and say, "Oh, one person had the virus and he came, and you see how many people were in this location? Guess what? He spread it, and then somebody else spread it, and it spread like wildfire." Cuomo came out and said, "Look, if you were at the protest, assume you have the virus. Assume you have the virus." So what if they come out and say, we can assume that damn near 90% of Americans have the virus? We can assume that the whole of New York City has the virus. We can assume the whole of Minnesota has the virus because of these protests. And if they have the virus and we have the vaccine, well, according to state power, we can't just allow you to go around and infect people. So you don't have the right to go around and infect people. It says demonstrations continue around the country, with many planned for Saturday, including a memorial service in Rayford, North Carolina, where Floyd was born. A march with his family was also announced to be heading to Washington, D.C. in August. All right, and I'm bringing this out just to, keep that in the back of your mind, man, that they will definitely use this to bite you in the ass, man. They will allow you to do your protests. They will allow you to do your rioting and so on and so forth. But don't be surprised when they come right back and say, "Hey, remember all those rioting and protests you were doing? Well, it sort of caused a second wave, and now we sort of have to force a needle into your body." They're gonna come up with something, man. Because as they say, never let a good crisis go to waste. All right. Now I'm gonna get a quick precept. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." And now Satan's physical counterparts, okay, are Esau, Edom today, these elites, these rulers. So we do not get an advantage taken of us because we sit back and we watch. All right. We don't just jump in for the bait. We sit back and watch and see what's the full picture. Because when you're so consumed in one thing, you're so consumed in the protests and the riots and supporting this movement, that's where all your focus is. Whenever there's something being pushed heavily, you have to fall back and scan and look around. Be circumspect. Look around. See what's going on. Read the vibration. Read how these law enforcement agents and these governors and these presidents, how are they moving? Are they concerned? Are they not concerned? What are they saying? You have to read all this, man, because if not, they will get you. But we're not ignorant of his devices, as the scriptures say. Now, let me look at a couple more of these headlines. Look at this. We're coming to get you out of the White House. NBA champion sends warning to Trump amid George Floyd's protest. Now, I mean, if Trump is the man, which very likely it seems that he is, all right, and he's supposed to stay in presidency, guess what? Something is going to happen to keep him there. Okay? He might get reelected, or there might not be an election. Okay? They might say, "Oh, it's a state of emergency, things are bad, cancel the elections because we need to deal with this." Okay? So don't be surprised, man. All right, there was a few more. Where was I reading it? Okay, let me load it up. Look, National Guard dance the Macarena, if I'm pronouncing that right, before enforcing Atlanta curfew. So you see Esau when he comes in. That's why Trump said he's going use the military and other forces, because these National Guard people, look at them. How they're not trying to. Esau ain't gonna send these people in to try and put people to sleep. You know, if you dancing with the people and you getting friendly with them, you're not gonna have the ability to be able to shoot them and do those kind of things. No. So they're gonna bring troops that don't know you, that don't care to befriend you. You know, some that are on MK Ultra, okay, who are ready to put you down in a blink of an eye. That's who they're trying to bring. That's who you should worry about. So if you really think you're making a change right now, you ain't seen nothing yet, man. Because Jacob's trouble is on its way and it's coming full speed ahead to catch you when you least expect it. Okay? So anyway, with that, I hope this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rachak Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.